Hey guys, Naomi here with Colorado Krav Maga. Today we're going to address a couple different chokes from the front. We have a couple different defenses, a plucking defense and a rotational defense. But we're going to talk about how each one of them works based on what your instincts are going to do. Right, so the threat is going to increase in its progression and its threat level, but we're going to solve it fairly similarly every time, and that's why Krav Maga is fantastic. Alright guys, so we're going to start with just a regular choke from the front, and we're going to deal with this with a one-handed pluck. So the choke from the front with one-handed pluck. We've done in-depth videos on this one before, so I'm not going to spend too much time on this one, but just a quick introduction here. So I'm going to address this with this one-handed pluck here, right? So one hand is going to solve the threat. I'm going to make a hook with my hand, I'm going to pluck. I'm going to drive my hand into my sternum notch, rip all the way out. Now as I'm doing that, as I'm being able to breathe, my other hand's going to come up and underneath and send this big palm heel strike. Once I've made that palm heel strike, I'm just going to follow it up with whatever I need after that, or whatever I can, all right? Remember, we're always identifying our immediate threat and trying to send a simultaneous counterattack and then finishing our fight, right? So my initial threat is that choke. I solve that by making that pluck, driving at the weak spot, trying to get myself able to breathe. I send that simultaneous counterattack of that palm heel strike, and then I follow it up from there. That was choke from the front with a one-handed pluck. Don't forget there's also a two-handed pluck covered in another video that you can watch. But let's move on to choke number 2. All right, guys, so we're gonna increase the threat level here by adding a push. This is a slightly more aggressive attack where not only is he choking me, he's also pushing me backwards. This can be an active push, or it can simply be just such an aggressive choke that I'm just kind of being pushed backwards, right? So I'm gonna solve this a little bit differently. I'm gonna solve it like this, right? Do it again from this angle. So for this one, because there's that aggressive push, my instincts are different. When I'm just being choked without a push, my instincts are usually to drive my hands straight to the throat. But if I'm being pushed off balance, my instincts are usually to have my hands fly out, fly up of some regard. So we're going to build off of those instincts to change this defense. Now I have to catch myself. I want to make this defense by taking some short choppy steps behind me, right? I'm going to take some short choppy steps. Now whatever foot is back, I want to shoot my opposite hand straight up. My hand shoots straight up and I pinch my bicep to my ear. Once I pinch my bicep to my ear, that's going to put pressure on this wrist. I'm going to turn 90 degrees. That breaks the choke here. Then from there, I'm going to drop that elbow, try to collect those hands. If I miss, it's fine. I'm just going to try to collect momentarily while I get that counterattack off. And that's an elbow number 2, then turn in with a side hammer fist, and from there, I'm going to finish. The difference here, right, is it starts with those instincts, but I have to add a little bit of a component of my feet as well. The benefits, another difference here is my simultaneous counterattack is a little bit delayed, right? So in that initial pluck and that strike, my strike happens a lot faster than it does in this defense, where it doesn't happen until right then. But it's a good defense for when you're to follow those instincts, right? Where those hands are going, that can address this choke. That was our first rotational defense, you guys, a choke in the front with a push. We're going to keep that same rotation going into our next defense. All right, guys, let's increase that threat again, right? So we started with that static choke in the front. We added a push. Now let's add that there's something behind us. We're against a wall, and this choke comes on, right? Yes. So I'm going to solve this very similarly to what I did with the push. The rotation is going to look similar, but with a slight change. So I want to apply pressure on his wrist to break this choke. So one hand's going to shoot straight up. My bicep pinches to that ear. And I'm going to make that rotation, but I want to keep myself tight to the wall because I don't want to push against force, right? I want you to just simply get out of the way. So my bottom shoulder is gonna draw a U as my lead hand or my top hand just stays up, reaching high. That's gonna put pressure on that choke, right? I'm pinching that bicep, drawing that U, driving out. Now from here, I'm still gonna drop that elbow. I'm gonna, boom, come out with that fight. And I'm gonna try to replace my position with his. So I'm gonna try to put him in the wall instead of me, right? I wanna get out of the wall. So again, even without him, right? I'm here, my bicep is pinched, my elbow or my hand is down, and I keep this top hand up on the wall. I keep this top hand up on the wall, and when I draw this U, I keep myself tight to that wall, and then from here, I'm gonna drive myself off of that wall to finish that fight. All right, you guys, we added the element of being pushed against a wall. Let's add one more element in our next choke. All right, let's increase this one more fold, all right? So now he's not choking me with his hands, he's choking me with a blunt object, a stick of some kind, right? So I'm gonna make a very similar defense yet again. All right, so from here, that defense is gonna look very similar to that choke in the front against the wall. But I'm going to try to get some leverage on the stick. I'm gonna take my hands to the outside of where his are. This way I have leverage. I'm gonna tuck my chin to one side, and whatever side I'm looking at, that arm is gonna shoot straight up while my opposite one dips down, right? This is the leverage I'm trying to get on this stick, right? Outside those hands, I tuck my chin into my shoulder, and then I drive up and down. Now there is some sort of stick defenses and takeaways that I can continue through with this if I feel like I have those. If he's super wide on this stick, I might not have the leverage to get that, right? I might not be able to have any sort of hold on this stick, so I'm just gonna have to start fighting with my fists. If he's super in on that stick, and I can actually grab the stick itself, I'm just gonna extend all the way through, drive it forward, and pop over with that top one. Do it on this side, right? So from here, drive through to break his grip on that stick, and then I have the object to defend. But again, I need to have leverage on it in order to make that defense. But again, very similarly here, I want to keep myself tight to this wall. Whatever way I'm looking, that hand drives up as my opposite drives underneath to make that rotational defense with that blunt object. Thanks for watching, you guys. We covered a couple different defenses here, but they're all integrated, right? A couple different chokes in the front, one with a pluck, and a couple with a rotation, but we increase that threat level. The objective here is always to catch it earlier rather than later, but you have options no matter what. Don't forget to just keep fighting. Leave a comment below if you have any questions or comments. We'd be happy to get to them or do any more in-depth videos that you guys would like to see. Like and subscribe. Have a great day. You're choking me. I'm gonna make this one-handed.
Fuck. Yeah, I want to just start from there.